Hello everyone, and welcome to a beautiful Sunday evening where we are going to be going over to Division C between Butcher's Meat Market and Pepegas on Ice. Now, these are two very heavy hitting teams right now as we are going to take a look at the standings. Now, Butcher's Meat Market currently in third place, but they're the only undefeated team in Division C right now. They are 6-0 on maps, and then Pepegas on Ice, they're at 8 points, 1 domination, and 2 2-1s. So they're also undefeated in terms of series, but they have lost some maps. And now the main thing here to remember is, is that correct? No, I don't think that's correct. They 2-0, 2-1, 1-2. That's the scores for Pepegas. There we go. That's correct. But they've also only played 3 games. Everyone else that's up there at the top of the standings, they have played 4. So Pepegas on Ice definitely still in contention for the top of the rankings. Now, we also take a look at the map picks. The coin toss was won by Pepegas on Ice, and they decided to take the map pick. So Towers of Doom and Sky Temple are going to be their bans, and Brax's Holdout and Battlefield of Eternity have been banned by Butcher's Meat Market. So in general, should be a pretty fun one. I'm not even sure if I've cast a game on Alterac so far this season. But I mean, it's always fun. Always fun doing different maps. This is definitely a larger map. Definitely one that has a lot more emphasis on macro play with the 2 bosses and obviously the prisoner camp itself taking a long time to complete. But at the end of the day, what matters is how good will the quality of the games be today. And I gotta say, with both of these 2 teams, it should be pretty solid. I mean, again, Butcher's Meat Market undefeated so far, 6-0 map score. And while they did lose a couple maps on the side of Pepegas on Ice, they're still pretty up there. 8 points right now. If they get a domination today, they're up at 12 points total. And then they'll be tied with all of those other teams that are at the very top of the ranking, with 13 points still being the apex team right now. But they have played 4 matches. So today's gonna have some impact on the top of the leaderboard. The question is, who's it going to be favoring? And I believe that if Butcher's Meat Market win even 1 game, they are going to be technically first. They'll be tied for first in terms of points if they go 1-2. But I believe that tiebreaker would be in their favor. So a lot on the line today. It's still mid-season though. Both of these teams are still likely to make playoffs, assuming they're going to be able to continue their score the way they have been. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. But now, we do have all 10 teams in the lobbies. We're just starting our ready check, so hopefully we'll be in soon. But before we do, would like to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's stream, Factor 75. If you don't know what it is, Factor 75, it's a meal service that brings food directly to your door. And it is delicious, nutritious, and most importantly, every single meal is ready in 2 minutes or less. So just pop it in, eat it, and it feels great. A lot cheaper than eating out, and a lot nicer too, I gotta say. So yeah, exclamation Factor in the chat, or click the panel down below, or use my code FACTORSC82337 to get 50% off your first box and free breakfast for 1 year. So once again, thank you to Factor 75 for sponsoring this stream. Yep. They're asking me if I'm ready. Okay, but yeah, okay, we're starting right now. But for future reference, if anyone is in this game as well, as we are getting started on the draft here on Alterac Pass, just assume I'm ready at all moments. Most of the time I'm just ambling with the intro, so I'm not always staring at the chat. I'm just waiting for the little images to pop up that show that we are going to be starting the game itself. But right now, it is Alterac Pass, so I do suspect there will be a lot of emphasis on getting rid of the cross map players. Deathwing to some extent can do that as well with the flight, but I suspect something like the Dahaka is going to be removed. Maybe Brightwing if they want to take that out of the healer role, Falstad, etc, etc. Really any of the globals besides Abathur, because no one really cares about Abathur anymore. Not that they really should be. But yeah, Falstad going to be the first ban coming out of Pepegas on Ice. So yeah, pretty solid DPS on this map as well. I know there are some very solid options here. If any of these teams do play Samuro or Vikings, this is actually a very good map for them. Because you're able to kind of solo take over the prisoner camp quickly. You do not need to take all the guardians on. You can just set your clones to tank them up while you send the main one, if you're on Samuro, or really any of the Vikings, to just lock it in for yourself. But it is going to be the Jaina ban coming out. So that's almost definitely going to be a ban aimed towards comfort. I don't think Jane is really super powerful into any specific composition. More so just trying to keep it off of a player. And Oriole going to be the final ban coming out of Pepegas on ice, as Etude's going to lock in the Joanna. Very solid tank, can do a lot. Not really much to be said about that. Joanna is the tank you pick right now. Now, Dehaka and Anduin are going to get locked in for Raptor and Tikar. So, Dehaka, obviously very strong. Very excited to see what comes through with Dehaka once the PTR changes go on live. I assume they're going to balance it a little bit, because right now it's definitely a Hail Mary toss, see what numbers stick. But Dehaka in general is going to have a much longer cooldown on the Brush Stalker, so being able to move across the map. But every single globe lowers it significantly. So I think they're going to be fiddling around with those numbers, try to see what feels good, what feels balanced, and kind of go from there. But next two picks are going to be coming through, and it's going to be Leoric for Solus and Rhaegar for Bronco. So they have their front line dealt with, they have their healer dealt with. But the question is, what are they going to put into those DPS roles on the side of Butcher's Meat Market? That's kind of the last role they need to fully fill here. They have the Anduin right now, and they don't have a tank. So the question is, what do they want to pair with it? There's a lot of tanks that work. Most notably, something like Anubrak's very good. Muradin, obviously, very good. Anything that really wants to play in. So we are less likely to see something like the Garrosh. Maybe even the Diablo's a little bit less likely, because Diablo needs to be able to point and click onto something to get into the middle of the fights. Whereas Muradin can just kind of jump over, use that Dwarf Toss, get the position that's needed. But Vala is going to be the ban coming out from Pepegas on ice, getting rid of that solid carry. And the Stitches, actually not one that I thought about, but does work well with the Anduin, not because of the Light Bomb, but because of that Leap of Faith. Just kind of being able to pull them further back. But they are going to take the Anubrak for Teal, and it is going to be Sylvanas locked in for Tomgen. So they have damage. They have very strong dive right now. Sylvanas can follow up with dive really well too, with the Wailing Arrow or the Mind Control. Again, Sylvanas has two of the strongest heroics in the games, in my opinion. Just always really solid, at least for team fights. And then between Dehaka, between the Anubrak, and the Light Bomb over top, they're going to have a lot of all-in potential if they're able to find the correct angles. But now Greymane going to get locked in for Kal-El, and the Kalthas going to be locked in for Kyle Maladet. I think there might be something hidden underneath the boost icon as well. So it might be Kyle Maladet. We'll see. But final pick going to be coming through. They are still missing an assassin of their own. I'm trying to think what would be really solid here. I mean, if they want extra poke, they could go for something like Chromie. I think that could be fine here. But they're going to go for Zagreus, so they're going to go more for that Siege. Just pair it with a Sylvanas, pair with the Anubrak. I wouldn't be too surprised to see a level 1 play coming out here as well. When you have the Anubrak, the Sylvanas, and the Zagreus all together, you're going to be very strong in those pushes. You're going to be able to get the damage onto those structures with the Black Arrows, with all the Scarabs, Zagreus just over top, getting even more spawns. So really, they're never going to be able to, the counter turrets are never going to be able to damage you back. So, and with this big map, there's definitely time. But either way, it is time. We are heading in to game number 1. All right, and it is time for game number 1 between Butcher's Meat Market and Pepegas on ice. Now, will they be able to skate around this winter theme map, as they all do have their wintry mounts? Yeah, very nice, Eaker and Dom. I actually wonder if it is because they just like those mounts, or if it is more because of the team name. But either way, it doesn't matter. But their opponents are going to be the Butcher's Meat Markets right now, and again, they're yet to drop a single map. They have won it all, and they're laughing about it, clearly having a good time. And honestly, if you ask IGN, I think they would rate this team a 6.5 out of 10. So perfect score coming through for them, especially if they're going to be able to continue this streak. Now, just looking over at the talents, haven't really seen too much extra, but there is that level 1 push I was talking about, and like I said, with this team composition, you pretty much have to. I am a little bit surprised that they're doing it without Sofrenia, although I guess a better way to put it is they're doing this push without Sofrenia, but it is going to be both top lane and bot lane getting really punished. Now, Raptor takes a lot of damage on the way out for it, but ultimately, it's a Dehaka. Dehaka's going to be okay, has a lot of regen built into the kit. Tikor still in the area, still has tap. I think you will take that for the amount of structural damage they were able to get. Now Teal's going to be able to collect everything over in the mid lane, and Sylphrenia is just continuing this push in the bot lane, but Solus was there to catch it, try to prevent a little bit more damage from coming out onto those structures. So doing well so far for that. But in general, both teams, they just take over to level 2 at the exact same time. So right now, all the pushes, all the soak is basically even out. And with the siege camp spawning, they are going to get started on that. And again, I know probably not the time to talk about it since we are in a game, but it is going to be really interesting to see how the game evolves when the camps spawn at 30 seconds instead of a minute. Especially for maps like this where they spawn very quickly as well. You just need to get that first early push. You need to really start thinking about when you want to go for those camps. Because in general, the faster you take them down, the more experience you'll get overall through the game. But Raptor taking a decent amount of damage there from Kyle Molodets. Just really getting poked down, but we'll go to Stace before the living bomb does explode. But at the other end of that, we have the range versus melee matchup as well. Sylphrenia just absolutely poking them down as they're actually going to be able to go up there and take down Raptor. And my continual streak of missing kills is continuing on. I'm not sure why I've gotten so bad about it just the last few days, but whatever. Main thing though, Impale is going to land on it too, but they're not going to go in. It's really just Tomgen here for damage, and with Bronco here to heal, they just don't have enough burst to go through that. But Etude actually playing really far forward, just trying to run down Tomgen, dealing a lot of damage there. But with First Blood going over to Butcher's Meat Market, they have started getting a little bit of a lead for themselves, but again, Sylphrenia is still going to be able to continue this push in the bot lane, and eventually they will have to deal with them. As now Teal, they did take down Kalel by a decent chunk, and Bronco as well. But again, they have tapped. Bronco still has the heals available, so they should be okay for now. But Kalel now is trying to damage over top. Bro Charge not going to be able to land, but Teal started to take a decent amount of damage on the way back, and that is the main weakness for the Anubrak. The Anubrak has a very strong dive. But if you're the one hitting the Anubrak absolutely keels over, one of the squishiest tanks in the game. But now, the gank is coming through, 4-member strong, but Raptor just going to be able to wander through the bushes and get right back out of safety. No damage dealt. While the prisoner camp has spawned, and in the meanwhile, Tomgen just going to be able to continue pushing out this middle lane. Not going to get too much damage done, but every little bit adds up. And when you have this siege composition like they do, just being able to move around the map, get little bits of poke, it will add up. And the longer they do this, the more they'll be able to get. And Teal actually manages to succeed in taking that camp, bro, charging forward, just trying to keep Etude off of it. 25 seconds, Etude just buying time right now, as both teams are just going to be collecting their own siege camps. So it is just going to be a free 8 seconds going over. And I did talk about the Samuro, I talked about the Vikings, but Anubrak's actually pretty good at collecting these as well. Just because the Anubrak can just throw out those scarabs will be able to tank those guardians instead. What are they even called? Cage Defender. Wow, that's a great name. But right now it is going to be Butcher's Meat Market. They're the ones that are going to be going on the offensive. Etude's still trying to zone away on the front line. May have gone a little bit deep. Will be forced to use that Iron Skin as Kalel will get hit by the chastise, but no follow-up is there. Both DPSs are here now from Pepegas on ice, but Teal not going to be able to land the Burrow Charge. So no engagement going to be found quite yet. Meanwhile, on the top side, we finally have the usual 1v1 coming through. Solus versus Raptor on those two offlaners. So that's probably going to be a big nothing burger lane. Although, as I say that, Solus starting to take a lot of damage. But again, with the Drain Hope, Raptor just not going to be able to DPS through it. As Etude could be finding an angle, finds Teal, finds T-Core, and now Bronco going to be going forward as well, but it is just the healer. So again, they're getting a lot of poke damage done, but Kyle Molodet's taking a decent amount of damage on the way out. But when you send so many members up with his Zagara on the map, Sylphrenia just going to be able to continue this push, and both those cannon turrets are so low, but neither side's really been able to punish it yet. But now in the back line, Kyle Molodets is going to get jumped on, but Tomgen starting to get run down as well, and Kyle Molodets is going to be the first to go, so it will be the first kill of the game going over to Pepegas on ice. Kill score is going to be tied now, but we're starting to see a pretty significant level lead starting to come out of Pepegas on ice. It's about half a level, maybe a little bit less, as they are going to start pushing to try and retake onto this prisoner camp. Etude taking a little bit of poke at a time. T-Core and Teal just going to be continuously poking each other out, but again, Sylphrenia just continuing this push in the bottom lane, getting so much value out of it. Now, Etude has been able to prevent Teal and T-Core from taking this, but at the same time, they are starting to get pretty far ahead in the siege camp take. They were slightly first on the last one, and we even see Tomjet still pretty far away from taking this third set. So that could be a way to kind of keep the pace going, keep Butcher's Meat Market from, in general, having higher XP gains. As now on the top side, Solus taking a lot of damage. Raptor really started to run through, but did not go for the isolation. Could have definitely been a kill angle, I think, for Raptor. But the Drain Hope, even through that heal cut, is just so powerful of a tool. But now both siege camps are going to be taking level 10. Now going to get matched by Butcher's Meat Market. They are definitely falling behind in terms of levels right now. And I think a big part of that is just the siege that they're getting. I mean, look at how much damage has been done to the top side. Tomgen now going to be here as well with the black arrows. But Solus looking for Tomgen, but the extra pull coming out from Raptor will give him a good spot. But now the Entomb is coming out. Solus will get hit by the isolation, though. And this time there was no Drain Hope, so Solus just going to be going down. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, yes, no fight's going on. I saw the minimap that everyone was very close together there, so I thought there was a big fight going on. But it's going to be 2-1 now for Pepegas on ice, and they're doing quite well for themselves. And now the next point here, it is going to be these prisoner camps as Bronco going to get hit. The Impale's not going to be coming through, but it's actually falling sword. But Light Bomb could land onto two, but it's actually going to land onto no one. And instead, the HP bar starting to fall behind, but Raptor coming in from behind, able to take down the healer. And now Kyle Maladet's going to be the next one to follow. Tomjet with a living bomb almost goes down, but it's another 2-0. And now Pepegas on ice. They're really starting to walk away with this game a little bit. They have a full level lead. They have 4-1 in kills. They already got the top lane for it. So now they're going to have that passive push in the top lane. They're going to have the rest of the team grouping up in this bottom lane. And with this warrior camp going down for sure, they're going to get the cavalry. And now this is where the real push starts. The bosses are also available on the map, though I doubt they're going to be going for that anytime soon. But now they're able to land the Dragatude, still taking a lot of damage. Black arrows are turning the fort off. There's no safety there. And it's going to be another kill going over to Pepegas on ice. And with that, they can really continue their push. Without the main tank, there's just only so much you can do as a team. Solus can kind of fill in, but again, this is the cavalry camps. They're going to be pushing through all three lanes. Now, they're sending their defenses up towards the middle lane, but I don't think Pepegas and Ice are going to bother with it. They're just going to continue pushing through the spot side, and they're going to start threatening on the secondary wall and maybe even towards this keep. And now Kyle Maladet's has rotated down. The rest of the team is starting to group up here as well. Etude now going to be back up on the map. And this is where the push begins. They have the black arrows. They have so much siege. This is what their team comp was made to do. But instead, they're looking to fight on the backside. Teal starting to get pretty low decor as well. As now the Maw is going to be able to prevent it. With the Maw and the Cocoon, Bronco and Etude just both completely removed from the fight. And the fight was definitely going in favor of Butcher's Meat Market, despite being down the 13s. But it doesn't matter when you have so many forms of disengage, when you have so many ways of getting out of the fight. Raptor even going to be able to get a little bit of damage over in this middle lane. Will take down all the entire wall and even get a decent amount of damage onto the fort. And now with that, it's almost a level and a half lead right now for Pepegas on ice. 14-12. About to hit 14-13. And they're going to start pulling on the boss, it seems. Tomjen, Teal, and Tico are going to be the ones doing that. But as Raptor getting jumped onto the bot lane, there are four there. Raptor needs to try and get away. And Dahaka is slippery. I don't know how slippery Dahaka really is, but will try to get the Burrow Charge away. But instead, the Pyroblast going to be enough. So that's going to be an extra pick on Falling Sword. Even going to get used. They probably weren't sure which side they were on, but Solus will be able to spot the rest of the team on the top side. So it is going to be a boss trade across the map right now. First boss is going to be favoring the side of Pepegas on ice. And now they're looking for Solus. Burrow Charge just barely not in range. Impale going to go off to the side. Solus should be able to just walk away. Wraithwalk will be back on cooldown soon. But it is going to be the boss taken in this bottom lane. Now, the thing with this is they have a lot more time to DPS down this top lane boss than they do this bot lane boss before it hits onto vital structures, because there's not a lot of distance between this wall and the boss, so it is going to start dealing some damage. But in the meanwhile, they're just going to be shoving through this middle lane because they know someone else will need to respond to this top lane boss, and they are getting some decent DPS there, but they're still going to lose this mid lane fort. And that was the final fort left for the side of Butcher's Meat Market, as Etude still looking to fight their Kalo. Even taking the siege camp. And actually, Pepegas on ice to notice that. I think they might have been able to contest that, but I don't think they were aware that was happening. as Raptor is still trying to finish off this boss. So it will be able to take this bot lane wall. It's not going to be able to take this bot lane fort. It'll get a little bit of DPS onto it, but that is it. Meanwhile, on the top side, not too much value from the boss in terms of the damage it dealt to the top lane structures, but the pressure it gave did allow them to take this mid lane fort. So that's going to be 3 lanes now passively pushing in for Pepegas on ice. And this pressure should allow them to do quite a bit, as they did just hit level 16s as well. So they have a talent advantage, about a level lead now, so no longer a level and a half. Maybe that was just the waves bouncing back and forth at that time when I checked. But they are sending 4, looking for Raptor. But Raptor is just going to be hiding in the brush, or was hiding in the brush, now going over to the other side, going to get hit by the gravity lapse. Stasis is there, though. And Raptor just trying to run up north, and with the invisibility will be completely fine. So Raptor just going to be able to get back out to safety. But instead, it looks like they want to push for this bot lane fort. Now, this is going to be a trade, because right now they are taking the prisoner camp in the top side. So this is just trying to get level 16s ASAP. It's just trying to get whatever structures you can. And now 3 of them are Hearthing A2 just going to be running up towards that top side. Both only 20 seconds left. I'm not sure if they'll be able to get there in time. If they do, they're going to really need to make this push count. They're going to really need to make a fight happen here. But even so, they don't have level 20s yet. There's the siege camp pushing in mid lane. This needs to be a very fast play if they're going to go for it. But Teal is going to get hit. Falling sword as well, coming through A2 to the middle of everyone. But the Maw going to be prevented. Now Teal with the light bomb, not able to find anyone, but they do take control of the cavalry. And now their healer is now caught in the cocoon. Do they have any follow-up? They will be able to land the chastise, and they're just trying to peel back. Pepegas on ice. They got what they wanted. They don't need to fight at all. And again, even not counting the cavalry, look at this push coming in from the siege camp. It's just, that's not even the siege camp. That is just that cannon coming through. And it will finish off the mid lane wall. It'll start DPSing through. And now Kyle Melodiet's gonna get stunned up. They have even more ancestor healing gonna be forced out there as well. And the isolate has been used by Nawitude, trying to find play in the back line. But right now with the cavalry coming through, they need to be careful. The bonus damage is really gonna be helping Pepegas on ice. And they're just going to throw out the black arrows. They're just going to start this siege. And Sol is still trying to push out on the top side. And Nawitude just buying a little bit of extra space. Bronco is hit, but no team can really follow up on him. But Kal-El just jumping onto the back line. They should lose this final keep. One more hit, and it will be enough. As now that Teal taking a lot of damage actually goes in with that HP. But Falling Sword going to prevent the stun, and they're going to be taking down Teal. They're going to be able to take down Tomgen. And now Raptor could be the next enemy, and Senselfrania gonna get hit by the Flame Strike. One more auto gonna be coming through, and Kalmaladiet's gonna be able to get that kill. It's a 3-0, but they do lose their mid lane keep, and they do lose their bot lane wall and a bit of damage onto the keep. But at the very least, they have been able to bring back this level lead. So this is still a very crucial moment for Butcher's Meat Market. They also got the bot lane fort at one point. So now they're not as far behind, or I should say they are back to where they were before, when they were just down all 3 forts with nothing to show for it. The level lead no longer matters as much, and they have a lot of standing experience left on the map. They have so many walls that they can just crash through. But it looks like Etude wants to contest for the siege camp instead. Falling Sword is just going to get burned immediately, but the siege camp still decently healthy. Kyle Maladies is going to be here as well, but everyone from Pepegas on ice is spawning. This needs to be a very fast play. They need to be able to get away immediately, but Teal just going to go in. They have the drag in the back line as well, but the Iron Skin going to prevent the main sun from coming through. But Teal with the cocoon will be able to take away the siege camp, and now Raptor is the only one still in the fight. The Entomb is in the area as well as, but now Etude gonna get stunned up, chastised as well. The Unstoppable is there, but so is the damage. So it is going to be another kill coming in for Pepegas on ice. And they have the siege camp in the middle lane. They're gonna be able to push in with that. And again, the passive push coming through in each of these lanes. It is so difficult to deal with on the side of Butcher's Meat Market. Now Solus, at the very least, gonna be able to get a little bit of extra damage onto these structures. Gonna be able to get a little bit more, but isn't a pretty bad spot, even with the Wraithwalk, and still not able to get that Wraithwalk out immediately. We'll get it out now, but the damage has been dealt. And it's right on cue, right on the top boss spawn. Now, again, this boss should be traded out. But if you're trading for the boss, you are letting these lanes kind of push back in. Kal-El trying to deal with that. But when you're dealing with the waves, you're not hitting the boss. So it's kind of a, you gotta choose the lesser of two evils. And right now, they are choosing to just ignore the middle lane. One benefit of Alterac is this is the strongest core in the game. It is very difficult to take down. It will regen back to full. So it will be able to just clear this out for you. But that's still a lot of soak if no one hearths back. They are going to be missing. But Kamaladiets has. But Kalo and Bronco could be in a bad spot. Cocoon is up as A2 now walking to the back line. May have walked a little bit too far. But with the Iron Skin, should be okay for now. And Falling Sword just going to get burned for the extra safety. But they are able to take every member out. Level 20s now therefore Pepegas on ice. But like I said, the level lead no longer that massive. Top lane boss gets a decent push going through. And now they're even going to be sending Tomgen down to the bot lane. And now Tomgen is going to be inside the Entomb. But Leap of Faith coming in from Tikor are going to be able to keep them alive. And now they do have this extra camp coming through, but the bot lane boss is just continuing to push through. So this one might actually start threatening the keep if no one else deals with it. This is a later game boss. We're already at 15 minutes. The prisoner camp's still being hit though and hasn't been contested, but Butcher's Meat Market, they're starting to come through right now. 20 seconds left, and it does look like they will be able to retake. And in fact, with this extra boss pressure, they could even look to contest onto the enemy camp, and they have level 20s. Entomb going to be back up in 10 seconds, so all the tools that they need will be there for this next fight, as long as it doesn't start a bit too soon. But with Tomgen still trying to clear this away, as Silfrenia taking a lot of damage, so is Teal. And now with the Pyroblast coming through, will it be enough to tap as well? And it is going to be a kill coming through, and they're able to find some more. Kalo could be in a bad spot, but again, the Falling Sword just keeping them alive. So it is just going to be a 1-for-0 pickoff, and now they can start looking for this prisoner camp. They're ready channeling it at 35 seconds remaining. Now the issue is their top lane is starting to passively get pushed in, but the waves are in an okay state, and in 20 seconds they are going to have cavalry spawning there, assuming Teal's not going to be able to retake this. But they're just sending in 3 members towards the top side, and that's a very smart call by Pepegas on ice. Entomb is available, and Soil's only going to be able to get the healer, but Tomgen just going to be continuing this push. Same with Raptor, same with Tikor, and they're going to be able to take this top lane keep for themselves. So they are going to lose this prisoner camp, but they will get something for it. But now Etude coming in from the backside, and do they have the DPS right now? Raptor looking for the light bomb, not able to find it. Tomgen in the backspace as well, but again with Haunting Wave going to be in a good spot. Kamaladiets is here. They have the damage now. Falling Sword. They're looking for Tikor, and Tikor is just going to get taken down, as now Raptor could be the next target instead. Bronco's going to be here for the slow as well, trying to run away. Raptor is trying to get out of the way. Wailing Arrow lands on a 5. How much of a difference will it make? There's still a fort here. Etude, it does have the Iron Skin, Ancestor healing, keeping Bronco alive. And now Tomgen just needs to blink away to get out to safety. And that's a 2-for-0, and they have cavalry coming through. They could threaten for a lot on the map right now. Mid lane and top lane for it at the very least. Teal trying to deal with this cavalry in the bot lane. Shouldn't be able to get too much for that. But game's definitely starting to get into a more and more even state the longer we continue this. And now top lane is going to be removed entirely. Tomgen still alone here. The rest of the team is going to be spawning soonish. There was a little bit of misalignment there on the death timers, but they should be back up soon. They should be able to defend soon. But now Tomgen getting dove into the back line, and with the Pyroblast, Tomgen is going to be out as well. And now this could potentially turn into an end angle coming through Butcher's Meat Market. They're continuing their push. They're getting a lot of damage dealt. And now Etude able to pull back Silfrenia, and Teal just trying to keep them zoned away. They're not going to go for it, as I completely forgot this is all track pass. So they totally cannot go for the end until they get a couple more keeps. But right now the push is going to be coming through, and neither side really going to be able to get a fight started. But the structures, they're still slowly but surely going down right now. It is the mid lane wall that is now crumbling, and now the Entomb also lands, and they're just going to be able to take down Silfrenia. And now the push can continue. Both the assassins are out for Pepegas on ice, and Butcher's Meat Market, they're going to continue the butchering, as now they're looking for this mid lane. They have Living Bomb already onto this structure. Just a couple more spells, a couple more autos, and now it's only 1 armor. They could go to the bot side to end this, or they could try and look for the end of the game. It's 3v5. Tomgen going to be back up in 2 seconds. This is fightable with the Alterac core. But now Etude trying to buy some space as Teal jumps into the backline. Will be able to land the stun. They have even more coming through. Tomgen just trying to deal damage over top. They have the size. They have the Wailing Arrow as Teal's starting to get super low. But with the Ancestor healing, Solus is back up to full, and everyone is right back up to full. They're really trying to keep this defense alive, but no one's able to do it. The damage just is not high enough, and the Entomb in the backline just buying more space, buying more time. Bronco will finally go down, but that's the only casualty as the core explodes, and it's game number 1 going to Butcher's Meat Market. Very, very close game between these two teams. I had a feeling this was going to be a good series because I've seen Pepegas on Ice play in the past. And for Butcher's Meat Market, there must be a reason why they're 6-0, or make that 7-0 now. Haven't lost a single map, but Pepegas on Ice, they are definitely giving them a run for their money. They are definitely making them work for this series. It is still going to be 1-0 up for Butcher's Meat Market, but Pepegas on Ice, they held a lead for most of the game. They were definitely going to be a scary, scary force, and I don't think Butcher's Meat Market is going to have an easy way to this 2-0, but they're definitely going to try. They're definitely going to go to keep all of this alive. They're going to try and keep their streak going, but for now, we are going to go to a short break, and when we come back, we'll be heading right into game number 2, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back again soon.
it's not exactly clear whether they even truly exist or could be shown to in the physical universe. If they do, if one day physics finds a use for them, that's great. But if not, that's great too. That would mean that we have, with this brain, a tiny thing, a septillion times smaller than the tiny planet it lives on. Discovered something true. If they do, if one day physics finds a use for them, that's great. But if not, that's great too.
Acid Hollow.
And we are back. Sorry for the long delay, but at the end of the day, all that matters is we are back, and we are going to Cursed Hollow for game number 2 between Butcher's Meat Market and Pepegas on Ice. Now, this map was picked by Pepegas on Ice, so it seems like they do still have confidence in their map choices, and this is another big map. And considering how the game started off, how they were just able to outplay on the macro, just continuously get more soak, continuously get more push over Butcher's Meat Market, I think it's a very fair call to say, you know what? It was working for us. Let's just try it again. We had a couple misplays towards the mid game. As long as we avoid that, we can continue this domination. We can get the win on the map. And I think that's what Pepegas and Ice are thinking. And Cursed Hollow very similarly played out as Alterac. Very tall map, very wide map. If you're able to make those rotations work, you're going to be able to get a lot done. But either way, the important thing was, though, Butcher's Meat Market, they were still the ones that came out on top, even if they were behind for a good chunk of the start. And at the end of the day, it's the end result that matters the most. So they are still 7-0 map score overall on the season. Looking to close this out today with an 8-0 total, but gonna be pretty hard as Pepegas on Ice. They're definitely no slouches. They've definitely been giving them a huge run for their money, but right now, Deathwing gonna be the first man coming out of Butcher's Meat Market. Oriole gonna be banned by Pepegas on Ice, and the Vala gonna get banned in the first phase this time around by Butcher's Meat Market. So with that, no huge changes coming out from the bans yet. I am a little bit surprised. I did think maybe Dahaka could have been banned first, or potentially something like the Sylvanas, because Tomgen and Raptor, they both got a lot of value out of both of those heroes. And frankly, I don't see any reason why Pepegas on Ice wouldn't really need to adjust their draft. I think the draft was not the issue. I think the draft actually worked really well for them at the start. But they are going to ban away the Leoric. So a little bit of respect of being put there for Solus. Obviously, those Entombs just absolutely dominated. But with Leoric out off the map, Dahaka is going to be the first pick coming in for Solus. But this does mean that Falstad is available. So Raptor going to be able to lock that in. And interestingly enough, it is Raptor that locks that in. Did play in the offlane last game. So in theory, this could be an offlane Falstad just trying to match into the Dahaka. And a Cursed Hollow, if you go the auto attack build, it could be very strong. especially into Dahaka, who's not going to have a lot of threat onto the Falstad. Falstad just by nature has a lot of move speed, has the barrel roll to get out. As long as the drag or the isolate doesn't land, Dahaka really should not be threatening Falstad. As we do get our second phase of picks here, it's going to be Bronco on the Anduin and Kaleo on Sylvanas. So they're just kind of stealing away the composition that Pepegas on Ice had in game number 1. Now, whether they're going to be able to use this composition to the same early game effectiveness that Pepegas on Ice has had, that's just going to have to remain to be seen. We're going to have to see what their playstyle is like. But definitely a little bit of a different look coming out from both these two teams. And with the Joanna also on teal instead of A2 this time, it is going to make things a little bit different. Diablo, though, going to be banned away by Pepegas on Ice, just trying to prevent that true massive tank from coming through this game. And Brightwing going to be the final ban coming out from Butcher's Meat Market. Now, the Brightwing is very interesting to me. The Anduin is still there. They did have the Rhaegar in game number 1 on the side of Butcher's Meat Market. This time, obviously, they're going to take away the Anduin. But maybe they're just a little bit concerned about the amount of cross-map play that they've been able to do on Pepegas on Ice. And they're just trying to ban away any kind of global. Falstad is the only thing they're going to leave, but T-Core going to lock in the Chen, and Muidar going to lock in the Stukov. So this definitely changes things quite a bit. Chen, very good at holding points, very good at holding areas, and is actually incredibly strong in the 1v1 as well. So this is not a hero that's to be underestimated, but it is going to be a 2 locking the Anubrak and the Cassia for Kyle Maladietz. So that's going to be a lot of extra damage coming through there. As Tomjun will have the 10th pick, they most likely will go another DPS. Falstad is strong, but isn't the solo DPS kind of strong. It's no Vala, it's no Chroma. You definitely want a little bit of something extra with it. Even if it is maybe a strong bruiser that can help damage. But it is going to be Jimmy Raynor the third going to be locked in for Tomjun. I don't know why I always do that with Raynor, but it is going to be the Raynor. And they did do a lot more of a siege composition game number 1. Obviously, this time around, the siege composition is on the other side primarily. If you can even call it that. They don't have the Zygra. It is just going to be the Sylvanas and Anubrak that are really there for the siege. But at the same time, you could also call it more of a dive composition coming out from Butcher's Meat Market. But either way, the draft is done. It is time for us to head into game number 2.
Prepare yourself for
and we are loaded into map number 2, Cursed Hollow, map number 1, going the way of Butcher's Meat Market, currently holding that 1-0 lead. And if they win here, they're gonna be unbeaten 4 weeks running. But at the same time, Pepegas on Ice, they had the lead for a very good chunk of that game number 1. Just a couple fights not going their way, then a couple staggered death timers just made it very difficult to be able to close out the game. It did give an opening for Butcher's Meat Market, but the potential is definitely there. They've definitely shown they are able to take the lead. They are ready to play fast. They are ready to play strong. A lot of that was from the macro play, but this time around, their composition's a little bit less suited for that cross map, for that poke, just for that siege. Definitely a lot less suited for that. They do have the Hyperion from Raynor, so maybe if they play around that cooldown, but Raptor are going to be over on the Battlefield side. But it's going to be Gathering Storm. I'm actually a bit surprised, but an engage starting to come through towards the mid lane. Muidar and Teal taking a decent amount of damage, but Tomjun going to be able to return a good chunk of it. Kalel actually down to half HP, but they're just going to be able to take down Teal. Just overstays a little bit too long. Muidar not going to be able to keep them alive, but that's just going to be first blood going over to Butcher's Meat Market. Now, okay, I'll be honest. I'm not a huge fan of the Gathering Storm first, especially if you're playing side lane. If Raptor was part of that mid lane fight, would have been able to get a lot of stacks. But I think if you're just going to be playing the macro, just going to be playing the split push, you got to get Frequent Flyer. Because you're not going to be able to stack Gathering Storm too much unless you're really just constantly fighting. But maybe that's the idea. Maybe it's just for the start of this lane phase. This is the strategy for the team as Raptor. Good reflexes, going to be able to just jump away. As now the camps are also getting started. Kalel going to get started on one of the siege camps. As Muidar and Tomjun, they're just going to go immediately for the Bruiser camp. And they're dealing pretty good damage to it. It is going to be Ace in the hole. It's not going to be Monster Exterminator, so they're not going to have that bonus 50% damage. But it's still in a good spot as Teal is alone versus 3, but is going to be fine. It's mostly the offlane tank and the healer, so Not too much damage already to follow up on that, as Tikor is going to continue this push in the top side, though. As I was saying with Raptor, 9 stacks on Gathering Storm. That's pretty decent considering it's a 1v1 lane. So I take it all back. Raptor definitely going to be able to stack us. Now, we're seeing the power of the Chen in the offlane. Chen, very, very solid duelist. Now, Solus will be able to heal back up a decent chunk just by the nature of Dehaka, but that's still going to be a decent amount of pressure in the top side. And now a lot of pressure coming through in the mid lane. And again, just by virtue of them taking the Bruiser Camp first, they're going to get a lot of value in this push. But with A2 just pulling away this major, it is going to be a lot. The magic armor is just going to be removed entirely, but right now it doesn't even matter. They're still going to be able to take down one of these structures at the very least. Could look for more, but right now, no real reason to continue. They got themselves a little bit of an XP lead. They got themselves a decent chunk of structure damage, but now they have to be able to play on the defense, and that's going to be the next point of concern. And now Tikar has to deal with this siege camp coming out on the top side. Raptor now trying to roam up towards the mid lane, but it's actually going to be Muidar that they're going to be sending over to the bot lane. As Teal's still in the area. Etude could look for the stun, but not going to be able to land the Impale. Will take a little bit of damage. Dodges away on everything else as well. Has the iron skin, but will take a lot of damage on the way out anyway. Down to half HP. Very low mana as well. I'm not sure if Teal has the well available, but with the Condemns, with the help of Raptor, they should be able to clear this out very quickly. But the first tribute has spawned, and that's where this pressure is going to be able to go to. They got the original set coming through with the Bruiser Camp. The Bruiser Camp managed to get them the pressure over towards the mid lane, and then after that it got difficult. But now Tikor getting jump spawn, Impale lands as well. Will use the flying kick over top, but the shielding not going to be enough. Goes down, and that's going to be the second kill of the game, going in favor of Butcher's Meat Market. And it doesn't seem like there's any major answer across the map. Tomjin going to be able to get the push in the mid lane, but it is going to get answered. No real structural damage is going to be there. Teal is going to be able to prevent any structural damage on the top side, but now Kyle Maladets could be in a bad spot, taking a decent chunk of poke damage, penetrating round as well, but now they're going to get attacked on the backside of this. It is 4v3. Muidar just getting focused down, and one more auto is going to be enough, and Kyle Maladets, or sorry, not Kyle Maladets, Kyle going to be able to get that kill. And very strong play coming through from Butcher's Meat Market, just able to snag themselves that extra bit of a play. 3-0 now is now Tomjin gonna get hit by the Impale, and there's nowhere really to go, no healer either. So that's just gonna be another kill going over to Butcher's Meat Market. 4-0. Now at this point in game number 1, Pepegas on ice, they were definitely winning out on the macro, and they are doing pretty decent on that. The game is still very close considering it's 4-0 the kill score, but they are getting picked off. It is 4-0 in kills, and that is going to be a bit of a dangerous moment. And most crucially, they are not ahead in experience. At this point they were, but now Teal could be in a bad spot. 3 members try to take down Teal, but very nice sidesteps. Iron Skin buying a decent chunk of time as the Impale lands, but the damage just not there to follow up. Haunting Wave is getting the last bits of poke, but Solus is in the area. Tikor needs to try and get this channel, but not going to be able to get it in time. And now Etude coming through the drags, not going to land. Teal now also in the area in the backside, but Teal is still very low, cannot really help the team. Raptor now also in the area. Bronco trying to lock this in, but look at the damage coming through in the back line. Bronco is the one that's getting caught out. The Condemn is there, and Raptor just starting to fight. In the meanwhile, Muidar just going to be going down. A2 getting run down, but again, the spell armor for the Carapace is just so powerful. And now Tikor still continuing the fight. A2 and Kamaladiets, they're both so low. They're both trying. Kamaladiets needs a couple more hits, but instead it's Raptor that's going to be going off. And every single time I pick the wrong fight to follow, but it is going to be a 2-0 for Butcher's Meat Market, and they're going to be able to get the second tribute as well. Now Teal with the sidesteps will be able to reset. Okay, I did not want to jinx Teal in that position, but it's 6-0 right now with the kill score. And now they're going to start this push in the middle lane, but unfortunately the wave just going to go down very quickly to Tomjin, even with the Scarabs, but they're going to throw the Cocoon. And now the question is, can they get this kill after that? What is their follow-up? And right now they're not really going to have one, so Tomjin just going to be able to walk this out. Muidar was in a very good spot, had the lurking arm as well, just kind of helping to create that safety net.
Gather tribute.
But it is level 10 to level 9. Third tribute spawning in 30 seconds, so level 10 is going to get matched. So they are on an even talent here, but now Raptor could be in a bad spot. They're looking for this gank. They're coming through. Raptor will actually gust them backwards. And now the Wailing Arrow is going to be there. Not going to be able to jump over the wall. Now we'll be able to. Perfect timing. And now the dive play. It's not working. A2 could be in a bad spot. Will get traded back. And now Solus and Kamala, that's also super low. And the Hyperion's gonna get popped as well for that siege damage. They're gonna go straight for this fort. And they're going to have Tikor just taking the tribute at the same time. So just like that, Pepegas on ice. They're going to get the first kill of the game. And they're also going to get the first tribute of the game. And they're also going to get the first wall of the game. Very, very well played coming out from Raptor. I mean, I was trying to follow Raptor, but Raptor just flew away from me. Does not like being on camera. He's a little camera shy. But that Gust, very well played. And I got to say, that setup for the gank was really good too. They tried to predict that barrel roll, just trying to get back over towards the center, but they didn't allow them to. Because Raptor just kind of pulled onto it until it was needed. And then used the Gust instead to pull them all back. Knew the rest of the team was coming. Now, Raptor is going to get hooked, but doesn't really matter too much here. But they're starting on the boss right now. And I think that's a really smart call. They're going to be able to get this boss first, while the side of Butcher's Meat Market is just going to be getting started onto their Bruiser Camp. But Etude is already here, and if Etude is going to be able to prevent this, the stun is there, and the entire team's here. There's going to be a 5v5 over the boss fight, and now at least they do have the barrel roll, but they've already lost one, and now Etude in the middle of everyone. Light Bomb there as well, but they've lost their Cassia as well. Raptor still alive. Bronco taking a lot of damage, and it is going to be the kill. It is going to be the boss going over to Pepegas on ice, but now Tikor is still alive, and it's just Teal and Tikor, and they're trying to fight this out. But it looks like Teal and Tikor, they're both in very bad spots. Tikor going to go down, and Teal will be able to back away. It's a 4-for-2, but the boss at least goes the way of Pepegas on ice. Level 13 talent advantage is now there. But because they lost 4 members, there is the tribute in that top side, and that is 100% going to be going over to Butcher's Meat Market. And now, what can they get with this curse? They already have the Bruiser Camp shoving in the middle lane. Luckily, this is a very strong healer in terms of just flat, raw damage, so they could clear this out. But on the top side, they're definitely going to be losing their fort. In the bot side, they've already lost most of their wall. Raptor just needs to clean up everything else. But the structure is definitely starting to get threatened. The top fort finally going to be going down completely. That is all they've been able to get so far, though, not counting the walls. But looks like the siege is going to be planned for this middle lane. They still have 35 seconds on the curse, so plenty of time to get something done. And now Muidar going to be the focus. They're trying to break the cocoon, and now slightly mistimed, and Etude has a light bomb and only going to be able to hit on a Teal. Is now Etude starting to get pushed into the backside here and coming out over top of the drag, able to land on Muidar, and Muidar going to be the first to go down. Kalma and Death now tanking a decent chunk of damage, but they don't have the damage to finish off the kill. Now Raptor coming in from behind. Tikor in the area. Tom John is the one getting dope, and the Gust just to push them even further back, but the curse is still up for 5 more seconds. Etude trying to get back to safety will get taken down, so it is a 1-for-1. And now Solus is going to be the next target. The curse has expired, and they are looking for the other kill. The drag, though, does land, and Teal in a very bad spot will get taken down. Solus trying to get DPS down, but look at the healing. It is more than enough. And now Tikor's the one that may have gone a little bit too far. Solus, once again, going to be healthy. So they do lose their top lane fort. They are able to keep their mid lane fort alive. But look at the damage done on the top side as well. Look at the experience lead now gained by the side of Butcher's Meat Market. About a half level, but they still have their boss available. And they're just going to get started on it right away because they know Pepegas on ice. They need to deal with their waves. They need to get Teal back before they can contest this. And if they're able to take it down before Teal's there, would definitely be in a good spot. But Pepegas on ice, they're still going to try to contest this. Tikor could be in a bad spot. The drag does land, and so does a lot of other stuns and silences. Tikor just going to get one shot through, and they're going to be able to take down Muijian as well. And just like that, they're going to be fine. They're going to get those 2 extra kills. Again, staggered death timers coming through for Pepegas on ice. And they're going to have the boss shoving through the mid lane. And this is / was, soon to be was anyway, their healthiest fort in the game. That's how Etude looking for Raptor, not going to be able to find it. 72 stacks in Gathering Storm, by the way. I apologize, Raptor. I had no idea what your game was, but clearly you know better than me. Just absolutely stacking it up to nutty states, but they're still going to lose their bot lane fort. Black Arrows was committed onto this, though, so it might be a little bit of a harder push coming through for this secondary wall and potential keep if they're able to push through it. But the boss is strong and healthy. 525 damage, 26,000 HP, but Teal going to get hit by the cocoon, and now they're going to burn the Hyperion, just trying to play safely, and Teal just going to be able to run off to the side, will be safe. And the Hyperion not going to get too much value for this push. It is going to keep them from wanting to play super aggressive on the side of Butcher's Meat Market, but it's still just going to end up being a trade. But Teal starting to play a little bit forward as A2 taking a little bit of damage, and now Barrel Wandering Keg from the backside coming through. A2 starting to get low, but Bronco is now split up. But what about the rest of the fight? It is going to be coming through. A2 looking for the stun, will be able to land it on a Tom Gen. A lot of cooldowns and no one's going to be going down. Just a lot of ado about nothing. But now the fight, Solus could still be in a bad spot. The hammering is coming through over top. Raptor could still look for a play here, but not going to be able to find his Kello. Actually gets a decent chunk of damage, but Blessed Shield now going to be coming through, but the Unstoppable coming through. Kalel just going to be left alive, but Raptor still chasing, has the Gus, trying to split the fight up even further. But now we're just kind of all over the map. Solus still alive in the middle of the enemy team. Pepegas on ice, still looking for this kill, but it is a Dahaka. Dahaka has infinite HP and escape. But so far, no one going down, and somehow, with all that said and done, both these two teams, they're constantly brawling this out. And Pepegas on ice, they are definitely behind, but they are bringing the fight right to Butcher's Meat Market. And with this, they should be able to secure the tribute. Even if they didn't get the kills, even if everyone's HP is high, they do have the pressure. And I think just being able to utilize this temple, being able to get the second tribute for themselves, it's going to put them in a really good spot. They just need one more. They can get the curse. They can bring this game back to an even state. And I think that's going to be their main hopes and dreams, because it is level 17 to 16. They still have 3 full levels, or I guess 2 and a bit levels for Butcher's Meat Market before they have the talent advantage again. So right now, there is a lot of time where Pepegas on ice, they can fight on a pretty even state. Minus the map state, of course, but with quick team fight, if they get a quick push, they will be in a good spot. And Pepegas on ice, they definitely have the opportunity for that. However, Butcher's Meat Market, they're just going to go in instead. Teal going to get hit by the cocoon as well. And now they have the extra silence going on over top. Teal's still alive, going to be using the Iron Skin. Now it's T-Core coming in through the backline, just trying to split up the fight once again. Wandering Keg, they're pushing Bronco into the backline. Hyperion over top, and Bronco is still alive. Light Bomb buys a little bit of space, and Bronco's going to survive. Teal's the first one gone. Gust has to be used defensively as the Lightning Ball just able to bounce through everyone. And with that, Tom John's going to be out as well. T-Core still trying to dive into the backline, but with the Wailing Arrow, there's just nowhere for T-Core to go. And it's another 3-0, and now this is going to be the top lane boss going in favor of Butcher's Meat Market. Very good fight for them. And with the Brushstalker, Solus going to be able to get the tribute as well. And Butcher's Meat Market, they're just looking unstoppable. This time around, they're the ones that have the macro-oriented team composition, and they're the ones that have been able to win out the early game, the mid game, and if they can continue this trend, they can win out this game and continue their massive undefeated streak. Going to be a lot of fun to see this team. But now they have the push on the top side. They have Scarabs. They have a cannon. Still 15 seconds on T-Core. Everyone else is going to be up a little bit sooner. Teal's already back up. But now Raptor going to get hit by the cocoon, but already managed to dive behind the gate out to safety. So that is going to be the cocoon on cooldown for 60 seconds. But again, this is the boss coming through. Level 20s as well. Black arrows from Kal-El. Just trying to buy more and more space for the team. And now Etude going into the back line. They have the light bomb, and they're just able to find everyone. That's going to be a 2-0 right away. Teal now alone in the backline. Lightning Ball just bouncing in between. Raptor still dealing a little bit of damage. But again, the Hardened Carapace is just so strong right now from Etude. The Gus just used to buy a little bit of time, but you still have a very, very healthy boss pushing in. Kal-El could be in a bad spot, though. A couple more flying kicks will be enough. Raptor will be able to get that kill, and now Etude super low as well, and they can take down Etude. And Etude will fall, so now 2 are gone. It is 3 versus 3, but there is the boss helping as well. Bronco still tanking up a little bit from the core, will go down, but now the Lightning Ball is bouncing through. We'll be able to return it back on a Raptor, but all this said and done, the fight doesn't matter. What matters is the boss, and the boss says Butcher's Meat Market are going home with a domination. Really, really, really well played by Butcher's Meat Market this series. This game especially, game number 1, they got themselves a clean pick, and the Pepegas on ice just kind of had staggered death timers. Because of that, they were able to bring that game back. This game, however, Butcher's Meat Market, they went pedal to the metal. They took over the game, and they never let off the gas. Sure, maybe sometimes they used their second foot to hit the brakes at the same time, but they never let off the gas, and they were able to maintain this lead going all the way to the end. And they were just continuously winning out on fights. They had so many strong picks. I mean, I gotta give it especially to Etude in that game, just continuously finding very strong cocoon targets. Even if not every single cocoon was super valuable, even if they didn't always get the kills from the valuable targets that they got, it was enough pressure to always get something out of it, to always at least pull everyone from across the map just to deal and with this cocoon, just trying to keep someone back in safety. So really, really well played by them. And a little bit of, I didn't even notice this, but Kamala deaths, 73,500 damage that game. I know the lightning ball was definitely bouncing around all game long, but still gotta say, just really well played by the entire team. I think that's really the only way to put it, to make it fair, because everyone was kind of doing their jobs in a very solid way. But with that, it is time to try and see if we can get someone for an interview. Give me one moment as I do look for that. All right, I have sent the ping, and now we play the waiting game. My favorite game, besides Heroes of the Storm, obviously. I don't even know why I said that. But yeah, either way, I mean, both these two teams definitely looked strong in various moments. Pepegas and Ice, even if they didn't end up winning either of these two games, game number one, they were up ahead for a very solid chunk of that game. Just a couple of bad fights and then a couple of staggered death timers just really made it difficult for them to be able to close it out. And then game two, obviously, they had a good start again. They had the push in a lot of lanes. They had a lot of winning matchups coming through. I mean, Tikor was definitely getting the push over Solus. That early play they got with the Bruiser camp, it gave them a lot of extra pressure, gave them a lot of extra time, but it's just the fighting. And I think that's really what it was. Butcher's Meat Market, they were just stronger in the team fight. They're just stronger mechanically. And that's why they were just able to take over those games. And especially in game two, once you get the lead, it's so much easier to hold it. But I am hearing they are going to be sending someone over soon. So we are going to be having an interview. The question. So yeah, just kind of bear with me as we do wait for the player to join. And they have. Gotta say.
Hello.
Hello. And who do I have the pleasure of speaking with from the game?
This is Etude, the tank.
Etude. Okay. Well, welcome. I was even going to say that game number two, absolutely phenomenal play. But first off, I do want to congratulate you on your domination and your ability to maintain this 8-0 map score for the season. How does it feel?
Well, Sun Tzu said there's no greater pleasure than to crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women. And that is something that I'm telling you guys right now, that is just truer words. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. Well, I personally don't. I don't win most of my games, but but right now, so again, 8-0, and let's talk about this series a little bit, okay? Because map number one, Pepegas on Ice, they had a solid lead on you for a good chunk of the game. They were up,
It's true.
I believe, a level and a half at their peak. They had 3 forts down to nothing at one point. So tell me about what happened. How did you fall behind? And then how did you get back into it?
They played well with the Sylvanas and the Anub. I think Anub on that map lets you take the objective if you're not dealt with. Sylv can disable the buildings, and I think putting Zag up against Leo was hurting us for sure. We definitely got outmapped there at the start, and they played that really well. It felt kind of like last week's game we played against Macro Machines. They definitely had us on the back foot for the first game, and then they made a mistake, lost a team fight pretty badly at the towards the end of the game, and once Butcher gets his meat, you know what I mean?
Yep. Once you get your stacks, even if it is just mental.
Exactly.
But now, obviously for game number two, and this is how I know you respected their macro game, because your draft strategy completely changed. Obviously, these are both big maps. These are both macro-centered maps. But you took the Dahaka, you took the Sylvanas, And with that, I think a lot of the map pressure that they were able to have just overall made it a lot harder. Do you think this is an accurate assessment, or was the idea a little bit different for the draft?
The draft. Um, I'm not necessarily like the draft mastermind. I think what happened. Let's see. We got Dahaka first. Yeah, I think that was responding to how things went in the first game. Um, they got the Joe and the Falstead. I think after that we got Sylv and
Anduin.
Anduin, right? And I think they were in a weird position at that point because I could go Diablo or I could go Anubarak, and they correctly understood that I was looking at Diablo, but Anubarak is also very strong with Anduin, so it's kind of a hard spot to draft. And I mean, they played Anub Anduin into us that first game, and yeah, it makes you have to respect that.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. But with those games, and I guess I'm more curious about the second game. So, is it usually you that makes the go, go, go calls? Because I noticed a lot of those fights were just started by your cocoon, just finding a target, and then the rest of your team just kind of grouping up around that.
Um, yeah, I'm not the shot caller, I guess, but sometimes there's stuff that's just too good, you know. Um, and I mean that's the tank's job, is to set it up. So and there's just a lot of disrespect on me. You know, there's a lot of Rainer stepping up. There was a lot of um like, and we also, to be fair, we were controlling the bushes a lot better. I feel like we were controlling the jungle a lot better in the bottom in that game. We were just constantly trying to get the jump on someone bot. Um, yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
Anoob's thing is he just charges at you out of the dark, and like if you're not always thinking about it, it's super easy to not respect it. So I don't blame anyone for that.
I mean, definitely happens, and you did position quite well, especially in that game. But with that, just one final question coming in for you. Is there anything you'd like to say to the audience, to your fans out there? Any shout outs you'd like to give?
Um, the meat market's open for business. That's all.
All right.
And I don't know, Kyle. I mean, Kyle did really well that game too.
Yeah,
The Cassia.
7.5k damage on that
Yeah.
cast. It was insane.
I mean, I talked a lot about tanking here, but I definitely had a few less than stellar moments. You know, I think everyone does, but like I don't think I really used the light bomb charge combo like I could have, and but I don't know. Somehow those fights worked out. There were a couple times it got sketchy, but
Well, I mean, at the very least, if you know what's going wrong, you can come back even stronger. And even stronger than NATO is going to be a pretty tough task. But you know what? I believe in you.
cool. Well, shout out to Pepegas on Ice too. I respect the anime reference, definitely.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming to this interview. And congratulations again on your domination tonight. I hope you have a
Thanks.
wonderful evening. Have yourself a great
Yeah.
night.
Hey, you too. Bye.
And with that, it is time to end our cast for today. And they say the meat market's open. You know where else you can buy meat? That's right, Factor 75. With over 80 rotating options to choose from, Factor 75 has food for everyone. and it's very easy to prepare. I think that's the main point. I cannot stress that enough. So be sure to click the link in the chat or the panel down below and get Factor 75 today. But with that, I had a ton of fun casting today. I'm looking forward to casting more. I did pick up a new gig on Monday, so I will no longer be able to cast on Mondays, but I'm hoping to be back live Tuesday. I have a scheduled doubleheader here for Wednesday, so definitely be looking out for that. I'll definitely be around soon. Maybe get a couple more replay casts going on some of those slower days later on, but thank you all for watching. Hope you have a great night, and I'll see you around. Bye-bye, everyone.